Take your time.
Good afternoon. As many of you know, my name is Sabria Henry Hunter. I'm 17 years old, and I'm a senior at Everett Alvarez High School in Salinas. For the last 7 years, I've had the honor of presenting here at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. celebration. I would like to thank this community for allowing me to grow, both as an advocate and as an activist. I especially appreciate Mrs. Jordan for allowing me to cultivate my critical thinking and public speaking skills over the years. Speaking here has given me the opportunity to solidify my values and to learn to communicate them effectively. I am truly grateful for all the support you all have given me, and I hope to give to this community in the way it has given to me. As Dr. King would say, something is happening in our world. We are now at a point in society where ignorance has reached an all-time high, where empathy has plateaued. We can neither rely on our school system, nor television, nor social media to teach us history. If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. were here today, he would plead with us to take back the mind. According to him, education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the true from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from the fiction. The function of education, therefore, is to teach one to think critically and intensively. But something is happening in our world.
Power.
Currently, our school system continues to neglect the narratives of Black and brown people. My sophomore year, I enrolled in Advanced Placement European History. Though I enjoyed the class, the title alone was bothersome. Why hadn't college work created an AP Mexican History or an AP History of the Diaspora? To make matters worse, the following year in AP United States History, we covered 240 years of history in the short span of 8 months. I couldn't help but wonder how many perspectives were absent in the stories we had learned. I couldn't help but think about the message that it sent to the communities of minorities that enrolled in these classes. I couldn't help but grow concerned about the lack of historical knowledge needed to graduate from high school. Something is happening in our world. When we don't know our history, we run the risk of having our youth brainwashed by pop culture and influenced by ignorant figures who author tweets spouting dangerous views like slavery was a choice. We must teach our young people about the captivity that took place at gunpoint in West Africa, forcing hundreds of thousands of slaves, of Africans, onto transatlantic ships. We must never forget the psychopathic slave owners who employed heinous tactics like the ones outlined in Willie Lynch's speech, instill fear in the women by dehumanizing the men, strengthen the body, and weaken the mind. We must acknowledge the slave codes which wrote oppression into law, and discuss the fact that we are still suffering from their long-lasting impacts in a society that claims to be post-racial. Something is happening in our world. We can no longer afford to be complacent regarding education. Education gives us an understanding of the world around us, as well as the tools needed to develop our own perspective. Frederick Douglass said that education means emancipation. It means light and liberty. It means the uplifting of the soul of man into the glorious light of truth, the light by which men can be made free. And that once you learn to read, you will forever be free. Literacy is key in overcoming oppressive conditions. Something is happening in our world. As Carter G. Woodson said, if you can control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his action. When you determine what a man shall think, you do not have to concern yourself about what he will do. When you ask students who are my age why their education is important, the most common and truly understandable answer is that they believe it will give them and their families a better life. But how can you have a better life if those around you cannot afford quality health care? How can your life be better if children are being separated from their families and held hostage in cages in your country? How can your life be better if those around you are drowning in a sea of poverty in the midst of an affluent society. Dr. King would remind you that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. As I graduate this year and plan to embark on a new adventure in college, I've been confronted with thinking about the impact of my education, not only on my life, but in respect to my community. It is evident that Dr. King wanted more for us than just to earn a degree. He wanted us to be socially conscious. He would want us to be zealous in our efforts to help others, reminding us that the question is not, if I give to my brother in need, what will happen to me? But rather, if I don't stop to help my brother in need, what will happen to him? But Dr. King would not stop there. He would assure us that intelligence is not enough. Intelligence plus character. That is the true goal of education. He would warn us that we should not be focused on making America great again, but on making America what it ought to be, a country that serves everyone. Not only does America need your help, but Seaside does as well. Everybody has a gift, and yours is crucial to the success of this community. Do not be the missing link. Let us follow in the radical empathy of Dr. King and take back what is ours. Thank you.